Okay, today we're going to be installing an HKS wastegate actuator on a red top SR20. It's a pretty easy install and will allow you to run more boost on your stock turbo. So getting started, you have to remove the boost line from the stock actuator. And then there are two 11mm bolts on the back of the actuator that you need to take off. I found it best to use a small 11mm deep socket. And now, after those two bolts are removed, you're going to come over to the wastegate flap and remove the small C-clip from the rod to the flap. And once you remove that C-clip, you can just pop the rod right off the actuator flap, and the whole actuator should slide out pretty easily. Here's a look at the stock versus HKS Turbo actuator. The HKS will allow you to have more accurate boost readings and allow you to run more boost. Once the stock actuator is removed, just come over and remove the actuator bracket from the turbo. And then you're going to install the HKS bracket onto the HKS actuator using the two 10mm nuts that are provided. And then screw on the adjustable actuator rod onto the actuator. And then you need to line up the stock and HKS actuator to make sure that they're the same length. Once you have the HKS actuator the same length as the stock one, you can go ahead and tighten the locking nut on the actuator. And you can go ahead and install your HKS actuator back onto your turbo. I installed the flap side first, and then the actuator side. And then you're going to want to install the two 11mm actuator bracket bolts onto your turbo. And then you're going to want to take the provided C-clip and put it back on the wastegate flap at the end of the actuator rod. And once you get that C-clip on, finally reattach the actuator boost line. Your new HKS wastegate actuator is installed.